If you have ever thought that public speaking is not for you, you know, you might actually be right. And today, I'm gonna prove you why. I clearly remember that day. It was more than 2 years ago. The sun was shining and the spring was definitely approaching. Room was full of students and I felt confident and ready. Maybe the first time in my training career, I have decided to do things a bit differently. Instead of focusing on slides and planning each minute and having a well-prepared content, I decided that this time I will focus on discussion and I'll see what questions people have brought and I'll try to answer them. It went very interestingly. And the first task people had to do was to think of one question they want to be answered from today. So many good questions about public speaking were popping up and I started writing them on board. So maybe some of those questions are also in your mind, like how do you prepare your slides? How do you beat your public speaking anxiety? Or where to put your hands when you're speaking, either here, here, or there. What to do if your legs are shaking, or what to do if technology fails. So all those questions are usual ones which I expected. But one question made me stop and think a lot. How to make my audience like me? Okay. A lot of ideas and strategies started popping to my mind and they were flowing and I was like, I have to know the answer, you know? I have to know the answer to that girl and answer how to make the audience like you. But I was so confused. How to make the audience like you? I didn't know the answer. Through the whole day, I was thinking about this question so much, it went crazy. I mean, I couldn't focus on anything else more because I felt embarrassed that I cannot think of an answer. So the day passed, and all questions were answered but one. I came back home. I started thinking and reflecting what just happened. And then I realized that this question was closer to me than I thought. That this question was with me living for more than a few years, and that I was also that girl who was asking myself, just very secretly, that nobody would know, how do I make my audience like me? Like today. How do I make you like me, or love me, or adore me? And at about that moment of my realization, I joined Toastmasters, Public Speaking and Leadership Club. And I told everybody that I'm joining this club for the community. But you know why I needed the community? I needed the community to cherish me, to write me good comments or encouragements. I needed the community to feed my ego. Because I was on stage and everybody was clapping. It's so cool, right? Those who are here can feel this. But you know, if you have ever asked a similar question in your head, like what should I do that they would love me and accept me? Maybe there's something wrong. Maybe then public speaking is not for you. Actually, I believe that public speaking is never for you. It's for your audience. Simple as that. Because when you are on stage, it's not about I don't know, how you look. It's about how you make your audience comfortable. When you're on stage, it's not about whether they like you or not. It's about what impact does your message bring. When you are on stage, it's not about jumping and being happy just because somebody gave you an opportunity to speak. It is about an opportunity to be heard. And you know, I'm not here to teach you. And I'm not here to judge you either. I'm here to share my transformation, which changed the perspective. Because when I started getting to know public speaking. And when I started living with public speaking, I was all that girl that I described, asking those questions and wanting my ego to be fed. But only when I realized that public speaking is not for you, it's for your audience, everything changed. And I'll tell you why it's good to realize like this. There are many, many reasons, but two of them I love the most. First of all, it really decreases the anxiety, believe me. And second thing, it lets you bring the real value for people who are listening. And let me introduce this with a real story. 2 months ago, I was speaking at a public speaking conference in Lithuania. And after the conference, after my presentation, one lady approached me. And she said, Greta, you talked for an hour, it was great, but you know, one sentence changed everything for me. I was like, okay, which sentence? I said so many of them, so how can I know which one reached her heart? And she told her story. She said, I am a primary school teacher for more than 15 years. I love my job. I adore working with children. I really love teaching. So I do public speaking all the time. But some things changes. Some things change when then the audit comes. When I know that somebody, maybe my colleague from other class, would come to evaluate me. Then, she said, I cannot focus anymore, and I'm losing everything, and I'm nervous, I'm shaking, and I cannot concentrate, and I'm not telling anything what I have planned. And she said, I didn't know why this happens. I know I love my job, and I do that public speaking great. There is no evaluators. But when the audit comes, I lose it all. In my sentence, in my speech, what I told, I said that when you are on stage, it's not about performing. It's about sharing. Because if we are performing, we want to be the best, you know? We want to be evaluated as amazing ones. But when we're sharing, we're focusing on the other side. So in her situation, when she was just doing her job, the job which she loves a lot, it was about sharing, right? I see many teachers here, and I bet you know that it's about sharing. But when you think about public speaking as a performance, then the scary things happens. So look, what I want really to leave you with today. It doesn't matter whether you are a student presenting your project to a class. It doesn't matter if you are, I don't know, teacher telling stories in your class, or maybe you are a person going for a job interview, or maybe you are a TED speaker today. If you start sharing instead of performing, the magic happens. And today, when I look again into the community I'm part of, because now, I don't know, there are more than two years when I'm part of Toastmasters, the same club, I still see them as community. But now I see them as community to share with and grow and help each other to become the best versions of yourselves. And conclusion is like that. When you come here, on this red bubble, or on any red, blue, green, yellow, purple bubble, think about your audience. What can they get from it? Because the only question each member in the audience asks is what's in it for them. So enjoy your paths in public speaking, share what you know best, and be heard instead of only speaking. Thank you.